What up, y'all? It's your girl, Ashley. I be ballin' with the IBB, I be ballin' basketball show. So, the WNBA playoffs are underway, and the semifinals, they're going to start this weekend, Sunday. But I'm going to recap, the first round and, give my predictions on the second round, the semifinals. So first, we're going to start off with the Aces. Obviously, the Aces and the Liberty, they going to match up in the semifinals. I'll give you my predictions, in just a sec. But first, got to give a shout out to Asia for winning MVP. Broke a lot of records. Unanimous. I was very excited to hear that. I was a little nervous, because I was like, man, I really want her to, get the unanimous. And I was afraid that she wouldn't get the votes, because last year somebody voted her fourth, which was bogus. But shout out to her. Great role model, on and off the court, just balling. So the Aces, Kelsey Plum really stepped up in game 2. She had 29 points, and Asia had a double-double, right? And I thought that Seattle would at least win maybe one game, right? But, unfortunately, with Skylar Diggins, they got Nneka Ogwumike, right? They got Izzy, and they also have Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd didn't find her rhythm, at all in this series, and maybe they could have won a game if, Jewel Lloyd had stepped up. But the thing with, big threes and, a super team, usually you don't win the first year. Liberty, they didn't win the first year. If you look at Miami Heat, they didn't win the first year. So it just take time blending in. I feel like when they got Gabby Williams, that was a great addition. I do feel like they missing one piece. One piece they're missing. They have a lot of, I feel like Nneka is like a mismatch. And Izzy, man, she's a beast, on the defensive side. But she was really stepping up in the pick and roll with Skylar Diggins. But it just wasn't enough because I feel like this first round, it wasn't really about the teams that lost. Every team got swept, right? But it's more about the teams that are now in the semifinals. It's, a lot of the teams are one or two pieces away, but it's when you have so many weapons like the Aces have, right? You got Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray is healthy, y'all. I was a little afraid, I didn't know if they could three-peat if Chelsea Gray wasn't healthy, and now she is. And now a healthy Chelsea Gray, she gonna set all of them up. She the point guard, right? Point guard. But, Jackie Young, Jackie Young, I feel like she's very underrated. She's strong. Kelsey Plum can get on a heater in a second. And, I don't know. It's like Asia has something different about her. I don't know if it was the fourth place vote, but she been wearing white t-shirts, right? And she's on a mission, right? And I feel like this year the Aces have relied on her way more, but I feel like if her teammates can step up in the playoffs, Chelsea Gray had 12 points, 9 assists. That's perfect. I just think the Aces, especially Becky Hammon. I think Becky Hammon is the best coach in the WNBA. So when you have that, that's almost like another weapon on the court. And Sixth Woman of the Year. It's like really add something to their bench. But I'm a little nervous. Like, if Candace Parker didn't retire, I would have been like, yo, 3P for sure. Because I feel like their bench needs a little more help. I like Tiffany Hayes, but having that, 4 or 5, off the bench. But I feel like Aces just had too many weapons, and they've been there, done that, been together for many years, and the Storm hasn't. The Storm didn't do anything really wrong. Obviously, I just feel like another year together, I think they'll be okay. Gabby Williams had 20 points. Nneka double-double. They were really triple-teaming her, double-teaming her. 16 points, 10 rebounds. I really like what Izzy brought, 14 points. And Skylar Diggins, 13, 10. That was good. Skylar was on a mission. I feel like they'll get, if they get a better seed and get one more weapon, I think, because a lot of teams didn't do anything at the trade deadline, except for like the Sun. But so next, let's talk about Sabrina Ionescu, with the New York Liberty. They're on a mission because they you could tell they had a little bit of chemistry issues. They didn't know each other like the back of the hand, And now they're on a mission. They had that pain in the finals, and now they've been on a mission. They've been playing real well. They just, man, they're deep. They're crazy deep. And the fact that the Aces and the Liberty are meeting in the semifinals, not the finals, but the semifinals, this is just going to be crazy. I don't know who's going to win. I don't. I can't bet against the Aces when you have, Asia Wilson, the MVP. But now it's almost like, okay, it's Wilson versus Stewie. It's, Kelsey Plum versus Sabrina. It's like whoever bring it that night, that's what it's going to be. But Sabrina Ionescu, she just got a flamethrower, and she's on a mission too, because I noticed like sometimes she just would put her head down. She wouldn't even fall in love with the jumpers. Like, it was a great mixture. Playmaking, good inside out game. So she had a playoff career high 36, right? And Jonquel Jones, she had a double-double. And I just feel like Jonquel Jones might be that X factor for the semifinals. I feel like, I think rebounding is going to be key. Aces are smaller than the Liberty. The Liberty are bigger. So it's like rebounding is very key. Like the Aces, they did their thing rebounding against the Storm. But no offense to the Storm, but the Liberty, you got 2 MVP post players. Like, what if both of them go off? Like, I just feel like that's kind of sort of what they're missing with the 4 and 5 spot off the bench that could help them. It's gonna be a battle, man. It's gonna be a battle for sure. Like, which bench is gonna come with it? I don't know. Like, can Tiffany Hayes carry the Aces bench? I'm a little nervous. But I can't bet on the Aces. I want them to three-peat because no one has really three-peated, since the Houston Comets did it. So I would really like, because three-peating is hard, So I would like to, witness it. But as far as the Atlantic Dream, like I said, I feel like they're, 2 to 3. No, I would say 2, depending on like how far Tina Charles is gonna, play. I don't know how many years she got left, but I like Allisha Gray. She had 26 points. Rhyne Howard, she's a baller, mid-range creator, 19 points. Tina Charles had 14. Nas Hillman, 6 points, 10 rebounds. I feel like, it would be great if they had like another star and then, maybe another role player to help them. New York made 8 more free throws than Atlanta, and they had 18-11 eggs and points off turnovers. So that was key. Every team that got swept played better in game 2. Because game 1 was not good, like, at all. But every team played much better in game 2. So, and Sabrina, she had like 11 points in like maybe the third quarter, I think. She just went off. So it's sort of like that. It's like when you have so many weapons coming off your bench in the starting lineup, it's almost like it's not if they're going to win a championship, it's when and how many. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. So let's go to the Sun, Connecticut Sun versus Indiana Fever. I would say it's a hot. The Sun hot, the Fever hot. Caitlin Clark definitely bounced back. From, game 1. But I feel like, and the Indiana Fever overall just played much better. There was the fourth quarter was going back and forth. Big shot after big shot, and it was crazy. Like, Caitlin Clark had her step back to the side 3, to the left, right. Wnba Bonner, they actually got into it. Wnba Bonner and, Caitlin Clark, they was going at it. But overall, it's just playoff intensity, competitiveness, to me. But Wnba Bonner came back with a 3. What happened is Kelsey Mitchell, she missed a 3, got her own rebound. She should have went back up with it. She could have maybe got fouled, or just get the layup, get the short jumper. But she passed it out, but it ended up with a turnover. I think that was like a big play in the game. And I think their turnovers, the Indiana turnovers, really hurt them. Because they played much better. Like, if it was almost even Steven, almost, they wouldn't go away. But I think the turnovers was the main difference in game 2. And, some people are like, they don't like the first round because it's like the best of 3 instead of best of 5. Like, you want more games. You want the road team, the lower seed, to at least have one home game, right? I understand it. I definitely understand that, wanting that. I would love more games, 1-1, or, 2-1. But we'll see if they change it in the future. Because, a lot of people probably would have went crazy with Caitlin Clark in Indiana for her first playoff game in Indiana, Those tickets would have been crazy, right? So, but yeah, as far as Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, the fact that they even made the playoffs is an accomplishment because they didn't really start the season off well. People were blaming each other. No, it's this Aaliyah. It's Aaliyah Boston's fault. No, it's Caitlin Clark's fault. And it was just a disaster. Like reading the comments, but I'm glad they pulled it together. The fact that they made the playoffs in the first year of Caitlin Clark is amazing. There's some stats that I want to say. Oh, Dewana Bonner, she played her 82nd playoff game to match Lizzie Whalen, from the Minnesota Lynx. And that just is a testament to, she's a champion, with Phoenix, and she's just a baller. I love her game. But also, Aaliyah Boston, double-double, 16 points, 19 rebounds. She's the only, she joined Tamika Catchings as, the only players that have a double-double in consecutive playoff games. CC, 25 points, 9 assists, right? That set a record. Only rookie to drop 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. She's not the only rookie. She joined Maya Moore for that record. And she's also the 4th all-time rookie to play 40 minutes. I think that's what was hurting them as well. Clark and Mitchell, being tired. The Fever need to fix their bench. More production on the bench. And, of course, just grow. And, Aaliyah Boston and the Clark connection, that's going to continue to grow. Clark's going to get stronger. She was balling, breaking rookie records, but also regular season records. And, she's only going to get better, that's the scary part, right? And, she scored or assisted on 45 points, and that's a WNBA playoff record for a rookie. A lot of history. And, but yeah, they're like 2 pieces away. They need to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell. I don't think Smith is going to be there anymore. There's rumors and, social media accounts. So I don't think she's going to be there. But I think Kelsey Mitchell will be back. But yeah, the overall experience of Connecticut Sun is the main reason. They know each other. They've played with each other so many years, especially Dewana Bonner and Lisa Thomas. When you have an MVP candidate like that, and you have Dewana Bonner, who's like an underrated vet who's won, how can you really, come on, let's be real here, right? But let's go to the links. I want to first give a shout out to Napheesa Collier, because she tied, she's the Brianna Stewart and Angel McCarthy. Sorry, I probably butchered that name. Sorry, Angel. But she scored 42 points, y'all. That's she tied the record for the most points in a playoff game. But look, the game 1, she scored 38 points, right? So she's the first player in WNBA history to have 38 plus points in back-to-back playoff games, right? And, the WNBA record for most points, which is 80, through the first 2 games of the playoffs. And so that no one's been able to stop her. And that's basically why Mercury lost. They didn't have no answer. She had 23 points in the first half, y'all. And they had 5 starters in double figures. That's a lot of production, right? Kayla McBride, you can't leave her open from 3. She scored 15 points. Bridget Carlton, Elena Smith, 12 apiece. Courtney Williams, 11 points. She can get hot, and she passes the ball very well. It seems like all these teams, it's sort of close in the first half, and then third and fourth quarter, they just open it up. Brittney Griner, 24 points, but it just wasn't enough, 5 rebounds. Cloud, oh, I love Cloud. 16 points, 10 rebounds. Taurasi, she only had 10 points. And I don't know if it's the end for, I don't know if it's the end for Diana Taurasi. I feel like it's not. That's my prediction. I feel like it's not going to be her final season. Because I feel like, it sort of should be like Sue Bird. One more year. And then go on that farewell tour. But who knows? Who knows how she feels. Maybe she has plans after retirement. Spend more time with family. Maybe some entrepreneurial endeavors. And got to see how your body feels. I don't think it's the end, but if it is the end, 6 gold medals and, everything she did for UConn, winning all those rings and, playing for one team, 3 rings, and, the list goes on and on, like 6 overseas championships or something like that. I mean, she made an impact. She's one of the GOATs, game changer for sure. I really like Mercury. I feel like Mercury is another team that can be a contender to win a championship. I mean, you have Griner, who is just a rim protector, and she can score, got a little jump shot. I feel like they gotta get bigger because, you have Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Cloud, and Kayla Copper. You can't stop her. That's what I say. And, I feel like those 3 guards / wings are really great, but you definitely gonna need some more size. They couldn't stop Collier, but so if Diana Taurasi does leave, I mean, you don't necessarily have, I wouldn't worry about the wing situation that much, but I think even they have 1 or 2 more pieces away. That's the great thing about all these teams that got swept. It's like you didn't get swept because, of course, you're not good enough, but sometimes you're not good enough because you need more chemistry. You need more time to develop and grow with each other. Sometimes you need, 1 or 2 more pieces away. It's the teams that didn't make the playoffs that got the most big problems, right? But the Lynx, they the best defensive team, and they have one of the best coaches of all time in Reeves, and you have an MVP candidate, and she came in second, and she could possibly win Defensive Player of the Year. It's like, they're going to be a tough out. For the Sun, they've been to the semifinals for like 6-7 seasons straight. They just need a title. That's basically what it is. And getting, Marina Mabry at the deadline, that was the deal of the deadline. You didn't really have to give up much. And she had like the big 3 that was sort of the dagger of the game. And it was like 17 points. They needed someone another dynamic scorer, right? And that's what some teams need. Sometimes you need another scorer. Sometimes you need a defender. Sometimes you need that rebounder. Sometimes you need a size, right? Sometimes you need a playmaker, you gotta figure it out. But and sometimes you just need time, right? But that was a very, very big, key trade that can help them. Sun versus Link. I hate to do it, son, but I feel like Minnesota Lynx is gonna win because I don't want to bet against Reeves. She's a great coach. And I'm not gonna bet on Collier. I'm not gonna bet on even though I feel like, there's a I feel like the Sun is more equipped to handle Collier. You can just slow her down. You're not really gonna stop her. She's like on a heater, She's probably still on fire going to sleep. Like, you can't really, there's nothing you can do. But I think Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, I think more so Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner have, that strength and length and, agility, because Collier can score anywhere she wants, fadeaways, it doesn't matter, move without the ball, it's just insane. And so it's gonna be hard, but at the same time, who's gonna stop Bonner? Bonner can get hot. She's like a KD, Alyssa Thomas getting those triple doubles, you know what I mean, in the paint. Brianna Jones, she can score in the paint. And I can't forget about DC. She's a great defensive player. Seatbelt season. She is another one that could win Defensive Player of the Year. She won Most Improved. Well deserved, really worked on her game, went from 8 points to 12 points, increased in pretty much every category: steals, assists, rebounds, So I feel like, she's going to have a tough assignment with, you got to stay on Kayla, Courtney can get hot. I just feel like, I don't know, man. Oh, and Olivia. The Sun got Olivia. It's going to be tough, man. I feel like both of these series are going to go game 5. Like, it's going to be game 5. I don't see any team not winning 2 games. It's going to be tied 2-2. Game 5 for both of the series. I'm going with, this is hard, man. This is hard, but I'm going with Minnesota Lynx. I just, even though I want to pick the Sun because I feel like this is finally the year that they break through, right? They finally break through. They got a great trade deadline, but I'm like, the way Collier's been balling, I can't go against her. So it's really a toss-up, but man, this is hard. I'm gonna go with Lynx. But for the Liberty and Aces, I wanna pick the Aces. I really do. They definitely have a switch that they can just, But it's something about, I feel like the Liberty have a better mindset going into it. And I feel like Jones is going to be that, man. And I like Kia Stokes. She's a great rebounder and defender. I just don't know if the Aces have enough size. And I don't know if they have enough, because I feel like Liberty, they're loaded, even coming off the bench. I really like, oh man, I really like, man, their defender, starts with a B, Banaji, yeah. And I really like her. She's strong. I feel like her and Jackie Young are very, very similar. They don't get enough credit, but they just show up every day. They're very strong. And I don't know, man. This is hard, man. But I want to pick the Liberty, right? I want them to break through. But I'm not going to go up against the Aces. And it's not even, for example, like, I'm going to go with the coaches on this one. I'm going to go with the coaches. Becky Hammond versus Reeves. That is why I'm picking the Aces. I can't go up against Becky. I can't go up against Asia. I'm not going to bet on them. I'm all in. My cards are all in. Royal flush. But if the Liberty won, I wouldn't be surprised, Wouldn't be surprised. Because they got a different mindset. They're more together as a team. And the Aces, they've been kind of up and down. The only one who hasn't is Asia. If everybody was balling like Asia from the beginning, I would be more confident. But there's something in my gut that says don't bet against the Aces. And I'm riding with the coach, with Becky Hammond, to out-coach pretty much everybody. And I'm betting on Reeves to out-coach. So really, I'm kind of not even deciding on the players, really. I'm deciding I'm going to go with the coaches that I feel like is the best play. So if my prediction is right, it'll be the Aces versus the Lynx. And to be honest, I want the Aces to three-peat. So I'm going to pick the Aces to three-peat. Because if it's Asia versus Collier, it's almost like it's equal. Like, I feel like no matter if Collier or Asia go off, I feel like it's mainly going to be about who gets the most help. Who's going to help Collier, McBride and Williams and, et cetera, et cetera. Who's going to help Asia, right? Plum, Gray, Young, Tiffany Hayes. Who's going to help? And, of course, the coaches, they do their schemes and, their plays and X's and O's and, Hammond versus Reeves. Who's going to outcoach one another? And I could be totally wrong. It could be Liberty in the finals, and it could be, because y'all know what happens. Turnovers here, a bad quarter here, and I want everyone to stay healthy, because I hate it when, I just want everyone to stay healthy. Let's just put it that way, you know what I mean? And so I like this playoffs because it's like anybody can get got. You know what I mean? Because last year it was like you kind of knew like the Aces and the Liberty were going to be in the finals, especially if all was healthy. Like, and the Aces won. And Gray wasn't healthy. Stokes was out. Kia Stokes, they They put Sydney in the game, Parker was out, and they still won. And so that's why I'm not gonna bet on against Becky Hammond and the Aces and Asia. Asia just has this look in her eye, and I feel like Asia is that leader that if they see her wilding out, balling out, hooping, she's gonna rally the troops. And I feel like those MVP speeches and those locker room speeches, if that don't motivate the teammates to ball out for her, I don't know what can. You know what I mean? And so Aces three-peat. I want to see a three-peat in my lifetime. I'm older than the WNBA though. But anybody can get got. I wouldn't be surprised, if the Sun and the Liberty, are in there. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if the Liberty won, because I feel like they're on a mission. Sun on a mission. Link on a mission. But yeah, in the beginning of the season, I didn't think the Minnesota would be this good, to be honest with you. I knew Sun was going to be there and Aces and Liberty, but I did not expect the Minnesota to be there. So props to them. Props to everybody. Because this is the one season where it's like you don't really know who's gonna win. Like, you have your favorites, you have your predictions, but you really don't know. Anything can happen. Somebody can get hot, somebody can go cold. Anything can happen, y'all. But thank you guys for listening to my breakdowns and my predictions. It's been a great playoff so far. Just by individual performances, and game twos were much better than game ones. I like close games. Nobody wants to see blowouts. They're pretty boring. But props to the sweep, because you sometimes in the first round you let your guard down and you let the lower seed, you let the weaker team, get a win, and you're like, we'll win in game 3. But they didn't take. That's how you know they're on a mission. They didn't take teams lightly. They was on a mission. Like, you could easily just say, hey, we got one. You can have one, but anything can happen in the game 3, so you don't want to play around, right? Some people say you don't want to play with your food, right? So they handle business, but honestly, you saw flashes, right, of Storm, of Fever, of all the teams that got swept, of the Atlantic Dream. You saw flashes of what can be, flashes with the Mercury as well of what can be next year, of okay, we need more weapons defensively, like the Fever need to get better defensively. Or if you're the Storm, we got to work on our chemistry. We got to figure out what to do when NECA is getting, double teamed and, Lloyd is off. Like, what can we do? Who can we bring in? And Mercury is like, is Diana going to retire? We need some more help. We need Griner to be that staple now, that if Taurasi is gone, so you got to think about who to bring in. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a big name or a big star. It could just be, a role player that can come off the bench and give you 20 minutes. Got to figure out what was your weakness. Was it rebounding? Was it, was it youth? Was it, what was it, Do we need somebody more, another offensive player? Do we need a rebounder? Do we need a rim protector, right? So thank you guys. I'm going to do a separate video of more playoffs, of the semifinals and the finals. And of course, I'm going to, once all the awards are out, I'm going to recap it and see and talk, give people their flowers, like Asia and DC. Recap their accolades, and if they got it wrong, then I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't think this player should have won, or but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, tell me, who's your favorite team or your favorite player. Tell me a WNBA topic you would like me to discuss in the future. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And stay ballin'. You heard? Peace. Till next time.